What's up, y'all? So Fauci is at it again, and why not? Because he was handed a lovely gift, the Omicron. This is just the gift that keeps on giving, right? With this COVID, it's the gift that keeps on giving. We got Delta, Lambda, Mu, Alpha, and now we have Omicron. All right. So why don't we get into a couple of the things that he said over the weekend? Okay.
So we begin this morning with the president's chief medical advisor, Dr. Anthony Fauci. Dr. Fauci, thank you for joining us this morning. Have we detected the Omicron variant here in the United States yet?
No, we have not, George, and we have a pretty good surveillance system. But as we all know, when you have a virus that has already gone to multiple countries, inevitably it will be here. The question is, will we be prepared for it? And the preparation that we have ongoing for what we're doing now with the Delta variant just needs to be revved up. And that's the bottom line of that, is the preparation by getting more and more people vaccinated and getting the fully vaccinated boosted.
And so, of course, you have the question that's asked about, what we should be doing and, if we're doing the right things. And so, of course, like we suspect, it's always, get your vaccine, get boosted, and that's all we can do now is get boosted with this Omicron that has shown itself. But the part that he doesn't tell people, again, is that the vaccine is only tailored to one spike protein from the Alpha variant, the first COVID-19 that showed up last year. So why getting this? What is that really going to do for this Omicron that has shown up? Like, what is it really going to do?
Let's go through what we know and what we don't know about the Omicron variant. Number one, is it more transmissible than other variants?
It appears to be, George. It has the molecular characteristics that would strongly suggest that it would be more transmissible. It has a bunch of mutations, a disturbingly large number of mutations in the spike protein, which is the business end of the virus, which really binds, particularly in one particular component of that spike that binds to the receptors in your body, in your nose, in your nasopharynx, and in your lung. The mutations would strongly suggest that it would be more transmissible and that it might evade some of the protection of monoclonal antibodies and convalescent plasma and perhaps even antibodies that are induced by vaccine.
And so I would actually agree with Fauci on this. So I'm sure he is very right. Like, this variant is, it's different because it has a lot more mutations. And, that's why it's like we're really watching this one. I can only imagine how many variants are really out here. Okay. So Fauci pretty much is explaining the thing that I've been saying, that that the scientists who were laughed out of the room has been saying, like Dr. Geert van der Bosch, many other scientists who were saying that you're going to cause mutations with this leaky jab during a pandemic season, okay? And so like I explained in my last video, and I had linked my other video of, do you understand the science you trust? I told you, they took one spike protein from the alpha cove, and then they put that into these vaccines. They put the recipe for it, and then that's what your body's making antibodies towards, this one spike protein, when there's many other spike proteins. Spike proteins are basically, but like he said, where the business of the virus exists, basically. Exactly. So if you've given people a jab towards a spike protein, towards one spike protein of a whole virus, and you got the rest, all these other spikes left over, it is very easy for these viruses, when whatever virus comes in, realizes it's under some sort of attack, maybe possibly, okay, and then decides to just go ahead and mutate, drop off that spike protein and turn into something else. It is very simple, very easy to happen. And this is the stuff, that's a new one. I'm not going to lie. That was new for me this year with this whole jab and pandemic situation. But we are seeing this happen. So there are going to be mutation after mutation after mutation, many variants to come.
Do we know if it causes more severe disease?
Great question, George, and we don't know that. In fact, we were on the phone with our South African colleagues who have been incredibly good about being so transparent about what's going on there on Friday, and we're meeting with them again today, a little bit later on in a couple of hours, to try and find out if the cases that they've identified that clearly are caused by this variant, what is the level of severity in that?
So everybody, in America, we're all like, oh, the Omicron is here. And you're going to see these visions, these pictures of people getting into their PPE and, and just massive, just hysteria. But when I was listening to a doctor talking from South Africa, and I was listening to like another scientist who was like listening to what the symptoms are, they're saying that people aren't even having a big cough with it. They're saying there's no really runny nose. Definitely you don't lose your taste and smell. I think like what it's doing is just making people have more muscle aches and body aches, and it's making like the people exhausted. They're saying it's happening in younger people. And let's be clear, it is fully vaccinated people who showed up with this new variant. However they found it. It is fully vaccinated people. So when they was trying to push that notion like, oh, well, the unvaccinated have done it again. Nah. Botswana finally, they came out and wrote a letter and was like the health officials, they were like, nah, these people were fully vaccinated, okay?
You mentioned the possibility that it can evade our defenses. What do we know about how resistant it is to the current vaccines?
We don't have a definitive answer to that, George. And
to me, of course it is. I think it's not just to me, but what I'm watching happen is like, I can't find one book to say, here's one reference of why this is happening. This is stuff that I was already seeing, getting ready to, once I was brought to the pathway of like making what I already was thinking anyway, kind of. But then when you get an understanding of how mutations work and how side effects will show itself or how XY, you start to realize like, yo, this is going to happen next. That's going to happen next. And it's not that you're trying to predict all this stuff, but yeah, you can see where this is going. You can plainly see it. Like, is it going to be vaccine resistant? Whether if they choose for it to be or not. It's just the answer. Whatever they choose for it to be. Yeah, that's where I feel like we're at with it now. Whatever y'all say.
In saying even with a variant that we don't know yet the full impact that it's going to have on protection against vaccine-induced antibodies, get boosted, get vaccinated, and you're going to bring that level right up. I don't think there's any possibility that this could completely evade any protection by a vaccine. It may diminish it a bit, but that's the reason why you boost.
And once again, just get boosted, Fauci talks about getting boosters like you're eating spinach, like you're Popeye the Sailor Man, and you're like, I just had me spinach, and now I'm going to get stronger. No, eat real spinach, and you actually boost your immune system, actually. He doesn't, again, say the part where when you take this jab, especially with the boosters, you continuously suppress your own immune system in order for that jab to go inside and do what it needs to do to your body. And then he gets excited at one point in this interview where he's like, and then you get more and more antibodies and more antibodies. And yeah, more, that sounds good, right? But remember, we talked about antibody-dependent enhancement syndrome, right? Like these things, it is his job to go out here and do this. This is not his first go round. So this is how he's going to sound. And it's frustrating to me because you meet people who are like, man, I'm going to take however many boosters it takes because I'm not trying to get the Omicron. And they don't even know what it entails. Like, I'm not saying people should want to get sick, but you can tell that our regulatory agencies are just, it is the end all and be all, I guess, when it comes to whatever they say. So I knew it's always boosters, and more boosters. And so to end off this video, because I'm not going to go through everything that he talked about in his video, but in his interview, but they asked him, they're like, well, what about lockdowns? And he's like, well, he has charisma a little bit. The older they get, they wisen up on how to deal with people. But he's like, well, we don't want to talk about like that kind of stuff already, but we should be ready to do whatever it takes. If we just do whatever we're supposed to do, if we do all the things that we're supposed to do, then we won't even have to go down that road. It all depends on what we do. So what that means is we need to see more people getting shots in arms. We need to see more masks. We need to see the kids get vaccinated, everybody get vaccinated. And if you move in lockstep, then we will let you keep having your normalcy. And that's the other thing. You'll have some sense of normalcy. That's how they say it. And I keep saying, your normalcy, my normalcy is not at the hands of Anthony Fauci. It is about how you feel as a person. Listen, this is your choice. If you want to take a bunch of boosters and everything, that's your choice. Understand, though, that you're not getting informed consent when it comes to these things. You're not. But at the end of the day, my freedom, your freedom, is not in the hands of the CDC. It's not in the hands of all these different kind of legislations. They act like it is. They do. And that's why it was always supposed to be bizarre from 2 weeks is slow to spread. Once you gave them 2 weeks, that means that they took everything. And now in order for you to gain a little bit back, you have to take a shot because nobody can prove that this shot is stopping anything. And they're saying, well, it's just to get more antibodies so that you don't get as sick. But people are still getting sick, and they're getting as sick, and they're getting other things too. You know, so that is my video for today. Again, this is not his first go round with this script. I mean, I keep alluding to the video that I have coming out about him and the things that he does. This is not his first go round. When I finally bring this to you guys with what Anthony Fauci did with HIV and how many people died because of his stubborn, greedy ways. It is extraordinary. It is mind-boggling that this man is still on television telling people what to do, telling people to get boosted, telling people anything to do with their body. It is astounding to me. It is. But that's all I have for you guys today. Guess what? Let's end off with a little solution real quick. You want to know what to do, Omicron or whatever variant is here, and you haven't taken any type of jab, you keep your hands washed, okay? That is number one. You stay hydrated, you work out, you eat, you get your vitamins inside of you, vitamin D's, your omega-3s, those are good. Your leafy greens, if you can eat them. Berries are good with antioxidants. Salmon, y'all know the stuff to eat to boost the immune system. Ginger is really good for that. Ginger, as long as you don't have any allergies with anything I'm saying, I'm not writing scripts. Those kind of things, you take care of your body. Your body is designed with all little things to take care of you, okay? So it's going to be okay. What these people decide to do as far as legislation-wise with all this, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But you're going to be okay, okay? Number one thing I always say, too, is pray. Okay? All right, guys. Have a good one. I'll see you guys at the next video. Bye.